There's something that came up. So you've all heard of Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is an elected official. Can't remember where she's from. I was going to put her picture up, and I just don't want to. She said something horrible in a committee meeting the other day. So they were talking about government waste, and she made mention of money that went to, I believe it was Guatemala, that helped transgender people. It helped transgender people. And she used, when talking about transgender people, she used a term, a nasty term. And she used it quite flippantly. And then she continued on with her address. Now, she's a Republican representative. In that same committee, a Democratic representative had an issue with the term that she used to describe trans people. And he brought it up, and he said, my understanding is the decorum of this room that we're not supposed to use derogatory terms. The member used my friend used a derogatory term, to which she immediately just jumped in, interrupted him, responded by saying that term 3 times, bang, bang, bang. I don't care, she says. I don't care, she says. I don't care, she says. Okay. The member says, okay, there it was again. she's what did he call it? She used it robustly, I believe. And he asked the chair of the committee to do something about it. And the chair was pretty impotent, didn't know if it was a derogatory term or not, but he would look into it. Again, she responds about something like, you're trying to bring penises into bathrooms and I won't have it, and I'm not going to be talked down to somebody like you, and da-da-da-da-da. Now, what he said was, we can talk policy. We can talk policy without using derogatory terms. We can talk policy without using offensive terms. We can have differences of opinions without using offensive terms, without tearing people down. And he's right. Now, I heard about this, and this was a couple weeks ago that this happened. It's been on Facebook. It's been on YouTube. People have said their piece on YouTube. It wasn't until I read a post read an article on the Christian Post, and I read the comments. That sort of, I thought, no, I do need to do a talk on this, because this wasn't okay. One person, a pastor, according to the name, says, as a representative of Jesus Christ, I couldn't be more proud of Representative Mace. What a prayer warrior. What a prayer warrior. I couldn't be, as a representative, this person saying, I'm a pastor, and I couldn't be more proud of her. And if you read the comments of the article, there's lots in there of people saying, way to go. Love you, Nancy. You're awesome. As a representative of Jesus Christ, I know that it is never acceptable for me to insult another person, even if it means winning the argument. I know it's never acceptable for me to use offensive terms, to use derogatory terms. It's never okay for me to beat up on someone, to minimize somebody's experience. It's never okay for me to cause any harm to another person, even if I disagree with them, even if they are my arch enemy. It's not okay. We're called to be people of wisdom. We're called to be people of discernment. We're called to have opinions. We're called to stand up for our opinions. We're told that we're supposed to stand up for what we believe. We're supposed to be people of action and people of love. And in this case, she's saying, hey, listen, what is it about? Why would an American citizen care about trans people in Guatemala? Why would we care about that? Why are we sending money to help trans people in Guatemala? Now, from where I stand, I would say because we're supposed to help our brothers and sisters wherever they happen to be, whoever they happen to be, and $2 million isn't all that much money in the grand scheme of things, so I would be okay with that. But I can also understand the point. Like, many Americans wouldn't be okay with sending money to Guatemala to help trans people. I understand. I understand that opinion would be out there. And I can argue with the opinion. What I'm not okay with and what we can't be okay with is when we use derogatory terms to try to win the fight. When we use derogatory terms, we should apologize. Like maybe she could argue, geez, I didn't know. I didn't know that term was considered a derogatory term. I'm sorry. I apologize. I won't use it again. But no, she doubles down. Bang, bang, bang. Says it 3 times. I'm not going to repeat it. She says it 3 times. She now knows it's derogatory, and she knows it's problematic, and she knows it's causing harm. She knows it's causing injury. We as Christians, and she claims to be a Christian, we as Christians, we are meant to share our ideas. We are meant, it's okay for us to share our opinions. It's okay for us to debate one another. It's okay for us to disagree with one another. But it is never okay for us to use terms that hurt people. She didn't call her friend across the aisle. She didn't say cranky old man, right? She didn't aim her remarks at him. She didn't try to knock him down a peg. She didn't try to hurt his feelings. She didn't try to degrade him. She didn't try to say something that he would find offensive, personally find offensive. She said something that was an attack on a group of people that weren't even in the room. She said something that was derogatory to a group of people who weren't present, who were not there debating her. It's a group of people that are on the outside, a group of people who are on the margins, a tiny, very vulnerable group of people within the community, and she chose to use a term that would hurt them. It would hurt their feelings, it would be offensive to them, and it would embolden those who would continue to do so, who would continue to hurt them. It would embolden people who don't like them. It would embolden people who are afraid of them. It would embolden people who see them as somehow less than to stand up and to do the same thing. We can't, no matter how much we disagree, we can't resort to name calling. We can't resort to offensive terms. We can't resort to derogatory terms. We can't resort to trying to hurt each other. We've got to be really careful. If we're having a debate. It's not a character assassination. If we're having a debate. Stay away from the personal attacks. If we're having a debate. Debate the issues, debate the policy, debate the problem, debate the solutions, debate whatever it happens to be. But we can't resort to harming each other, and we certainly can't resort to harming people who are already vulnerable. It's the tactic of a bully. It's a tactic of a jerk. It's the tactic of someone who really doesn't care about anybody but themselves. It's a selfish, self-centered tactic. And it must be rejected. We must reject that strategy. That is not the strategy of Jesus Christ. That is not the strategy of a Christian in this world today, trying to live the life that Jesus would have us live. Amen.